Hello everyone. This may be a much shorter stream today, so I'm not expecting a lot of people live today. Um, just give me a second to check to make sure that my volume's working. All right, so we're just going to give you maybe a 15, this is only going to be like a 15-20 minute stream since I have guests at my place today. It's 9:30 Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday, I believe. Yeah, it's Wednesday. Now, we don't have a lot of news today. As you can see, it's pretty light. We're getting closer to the new year. We do have some tomorrow on Thursday. That's pretty much the most of the week, the unemployment claims. Other than that, not a whole lot the rest of the week. So, with that being said, let me just keep an eye on my stream. And I did close out my Euro US dollar trades. And right before uh, the trend continuation um, during the course of the last 10 hours or so. It was literally 4 hours before the drop. Really unfortunate, but I got a little scared out of the trade, honestly. Now, I said that I was going to make sure and close out my trade if there was a strong close above 1.05. Now, that didn't happen, but I was looking at the news and I felt like the overall feeling for the strength of the USD was starting to slow down since the FOMC statement, uh, and things were going to get pretty quiet for the rest of the week and through the new year. And my thoughts were that this I need to get my marker. Sorry, I don't have my two screens today. My thoughts were that this was going to slowly trickle up, and if not, it was going to just range in this area. The longer that this position goes on for, where it just kind of sits flat, at least that's what I was expecting, uh, the more, the less comfortable I feel with it. Um, so I did end up closing out both my positions at this point, and took a profit of about $1,600. So you see trade one was 1,676, and then a smaller loss on the second position of 74. So I ended up taking about $1,600 profit. Nothing really um, to complain about. So 170 pips from the first trade, minus 36 from the second. So I still banked over 130 pips. Pretty good. Um, it's just unfortunate that I waited all this time for the trend to continue. I waited a good 10 days or 7 days, and this slow move up, the range happening, and then the continuation starting here. Just unfortunate that it happened to be just a few hours after I closed out my position. All right, so we're gonna just today we're gonna go over just briefly the pairs, what current trades I'm in, um, and if you have any questions as well. Okay, so the next position that I recently entered was exactly what I talked about to you guys yesterday. Um, I closed down my charts and it deleted my markings on the page, but we talked about this being my trade of choice yesterday. And the reason why is because there was the strong trend down on the 1 hour and on the 4 hour with the inside candle here, reversal candle here, um, and this would have been a really good place to enter a short position. So the pair did end up going down a bit, low volatility, and then it started creeping back up. When I saw it hit the whole number at 72, I decided to enter myself because at that point I was already out of my Euro US dollar trades, so I was looking for another entry. and saw here, I saw a whole number, saw it was near the support resistance up here, and took it here. And this is what we're looking at right now. Currently, I'm about 40 pips profit. Yeah, just over 40 pips. And it's looking really good. My take profit point is near the support resistance here. Actually, I think I'm just going to close out this trade now. This is a pretty good spot. The Euro US dollar looks like it could be setting up for a pullback. The reason why is because we're about 30 minutes into the hour. But if this candle ends the way it is now, as an inside bullish candle, then this could have a pullback. Maybe that's what I'll do is I'll just wait for the next 30 minutes to see how this trade reacts to this level, and to see how it closes. And I'll check the crosses as well, including the UJ and the Euro US dollar, and some of the other pairs as well, to see if this is acting like a reversal point. Because if it is, then it will act as a reversal potentially on the odd USD as well, whether that's stronger or weaker. Um, okay, but this is a pretty good spot right now. The support is in this area at any point. So it could be here, it could be here, it could be at the very bottom. I'm just putting my stop or my take profit there, just in that vicinity. The reason why I'm putting my take profit there is because this is previously the market reversed or had a pullback on that point. And used it as a support. So this is a previous support, and it could act as another support and bounce again from there. And I don't want to take that risk, so I would, um, instead of holding on to this for a break on the downside of this level, I'm just going to pull out my profit here instead of waiting for it to either pull back here or break through. It's a bit risky to be holding so long at this point, um, and hoping that it will break through that level. Instead of just crossing your fingers to break, it would be smart. It's a smart trading technique to close out a position at a previous strong support or resistance point, especially if you're already in profit as well. Okay, the euro pound is still um, in this small range. And as you know, I have an EA trading on that, and I spoke yesterday about the 4 positions. This needs to go, the market needs to go to about this level in order for me to exit all 4 of my positions. These 2 at the top will be in profit. This one will be at break even, and this one will be a small loss. So overall, I should take some pretty good profit. Okay, um, so I'm gonna wait to see what this candle does. And if it closes inside, then it's possible that there could be a pullback at this point, and then a continuation after that. Okay. Now we don't have a lot of streamers today. I know it's still light, or the streamers or live viewers today, just because it's Wednesday midweek. Not a lot of news, not a lot going on. So we'll just talk about some of the other pairs and what's going on with them. See if there's any potential positions for us to take today. Okay, so the pound USD. Still in the downtrend, as I said yesterday. I thought it was going to continue, and it did. It did move. It did move lower. I do think that there is potential for a pullback now on this pair, especially if the Euro US dollar shows that. But still overall on the downside. The UJ, I remember I wrote a cone down like this, or drew a cone. It did end up breaking out of that. It's still really flat. I still don't recommend trading this pair yet until we get more action. The UJ. It's at a support level right now, uh, and it has been on the way up. We have seen some decent push down of recent. Would this be a good area to buy? I'd wait to see what happens with the current candle if when it closes, to see if it gives it a wick, gives a wick. And this could be a pretty good level for pullback or a continuation of the trend. Now we have the higher lows here, and with this one just barely breaking it, but it's still, in my opinion, still holding at this level. We're showing some of that here now. So I'd wait to see how this current candle closes in the next 20 minutes and base a potential trade off of that. Okay, the odd USD, as you know, still on the downside, looking for a possible pullback of the trend here and a closing of my trade that I currently have in. The odd Japanese yen has been moving up in a big way, but recently it hit these. If you were looking at the swing levels, I mean, not very many of them are too obvious. Um, but you can see that this one here in particular was broken. Made a new one here at this level or near it. And then it also had a bounce near this level. This is the last line of defense in my opinion here. If this continues to break through this level, then this could start to push on the downside a lot further. And then we look for more support areas here and here. These are weaker. This is much stronger here. So for those of you wanting to trade this pair, might have been a little late. I would have looked for an entry here uh, for a pushback up, but it is struggling uh, to make that push. We'll have to see how the next few hours pan out. Cow Japanese yen looking very similar to the odd yen. This level's broken. New level here to pull back. The highest high made the next we have a lower high here, a break of the level. Price actions looking like it's doing a swoop on the back on the downside, and the trend on that's been pushing up for the last while looks like it's could, at least on the 1 hour, could be returning more on the downside. Sorry, on the 4 hour. I meant the trend on the 4 hour. So if we scroll out on the 4 hour, you can see that it's been a really strong trend move up. And then it's starting to finally maybe break. It's easier to see that on the 1 hour, especially if you look at the highs here. We have a new higher high at this point, and then a lower high. Then the break of these levels, and it continues to fall. So on the 1 hour, it's starting to look like it's maybe on the downside. All right, I had a big gap here, which is interesting. It's like almost a 300 pip gap. Don't know too much about why that happened, if it was just my broker or not, but something that I won't talk about much because I don't know why there was such a large gap. Some of you may know, but I didn't have any trades involved at that time, so it wasn't a really big deal of me trying to figure out why it happened. Okay, so these two pairs will be the last two that I cover before I call this a morning. The pound Japanese yen, so we have this level, just a slightly higher low, um, and we have the break of this level here with the potential for the upside. It kind of started failing, and then we hit this level again, currently where we are. So this is basically a triple low um, here with the potential for a bounce. Um, so not much action here. Uh, if you were looking for a counter trend, this might be a good opportunity here for a quick bounce on the pound yen. But it may be a little bit too risky because there has been a lot of pressure on the pound recently in the last since the 15th of December. It's been starting to swoop down. Okay. The last pair I'm going to cover is the UCAD. This has been, I mean, it's been an obvious uptrend, and inside candle here. Um, and inside candle here. And this is starting to maybe push on the downside here. So it's a bit tricky up here. I would look for more of a push down near this level, so near the 35 level, for a continuation of the trend back up. OddCAD gave us a really nice inside candle and then the push down. We had one earlier here, and then another one right after that. And there's two that close together. A lot of times that's a pretty good sign for a change or a pullback in the current trend direction. This could be a trend continuation there, back on the short side. Now if we look on the 4-hour, it's been down. If we look on the 1-hour, it also has been down. Now the biggest area for a line of defense or a place for the trend to continue. So if this decided to creep up, this would be a pretty important level. If this level is broken, then it could have more on the upside. But otherwise, if it's not, I would expect more on the downside and continue to break this level down here. All right. So it's looking like the Euro-US dollar is going to close with an inside candle. It means I'm going to lose a few extra dollars of profit. It's not a big deal here, but I'm really watching the Euro-US dollar for the USD strength to see how that's going. And so far, pretty quiet. Not much going on. I'm gonna check to see uh, who's writing in. I'm sure you guys can actually see my screen right now. Um, yes, Sergeant, I did close out my Euro-US dollar. If you are just now tuning in, you can see where I closed out the position. Um, and I was like I said earlier in the stream, I was a little bit scared out of the trade because my level of last line of defense was the 1.05 level, and the market never hit that level. It never broke it, and I said I wanted to see a candle close above it. I didn't want to risk it. I thought that this could either range for a while in here, and the longer that happened, I didn't want to be a part of it. The longer that went on for, the less likely I felt the chances of the continuation of the trend happening diminished. Um, and I also thought there was a possibility for this to creep up slowly over time. I didn't want to wait for that and decided to pull my trade, unfortunately, right before the trend continuation. You know, those things happen. It's unfortunate that I wait so long for this to continue, and right after I take out my position, it moves. I'm not too bummed about it. I still came out with $1,600 profit, which I'm okay with. And if the profit amount doesn't matter to you, it doesn't matter to me too much. I'm mostly concerned or happy with the pip amount. I actually profited 130 pips total from this trade, over 130 pips. Minus 40 pips from the first one, and about 167, 66 from from the second trade, it was a 40 pips loss, and the first trade was 167 pip gain. Um, so hi titanium. Thanks for forex pips catcher. Good to see that you guys are joining me. Um, and that's about it for today. I'll be closing out my Japanese yen trade here. I'm now unfortunately losing out about 10 pips profit because I'm waiting for waiting for the euro US dollar. Um, I would consider entering a pullback trade here on the euro US dollar. Um, it's hard for me to enter long positions right now because I don't want to get stuck in a big push down. I think that the overall picture for the dollar is still overall down, and I do think it will break this level over time and it will reach parity levels at some point. So I'm not anxious to jump in, but I'll probably be back tomorrow. You guys can see what I decide, and I always have a reason for uh, the trades that I put in. It's not like, oh, I have a feeling this is going to happen, or I have a feeling this is going to happen. It has to be based off of price action or technical analysis or fundamental or both, usually both. And so I don't have just one reason for entering a trade. It's usually multiple. Um, and so in this case, if I do enter here, um, I would enter on multiple for multiple reasons, and that's one, inside candle, two, near a whole number, or almost right at a whole number, with the potential for a bounce. If I do take this trade, I'll be looking for only 10 to 20 pips, so it would be pretty small. All right, and if I don't wait for this, or if I don't enter here, and it does shoot up, I might look for a area to enter uh, again on the short side. So let's say that it retraces or has a pullback, it has price action, uh, hits this level, and there is a reversal candle, and I see that as a good opportunity to enter on the trend again, or even up here, like there was a inside candle up there. If the same thing happened here, then I would look at entering on the short side. So we'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, um, that's it for the stream today. No more questions, and thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time tomorrow around probably 9 or 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I hope you guys have a good rest of the day and happy trading.